So you're gonna fold your hands over your head, and then you're gonna focus on pushing your elbows into the ground to remove weight from your head. You don't want a lot of weight on your head, but your head should be in the ground. It's not a forearm stand.
Obviously for the safety, removing the neck compression, which is very important for your headstands. The scapular elevation is what he's talking about, is using that frame, ensuring that the weight is there on the arms and not the neck. Sondre Berg is one of the most respected handstand athletes in calisthenics on the internet. I wanted to highlight a specific portion of his Handstand Beginners to Advanced guide that just came out 8 days ago because it's very similar to what I had taught in the handstand workshop about 2 weeks ago. Now this video is about 8 days old, so I didn't even know this existed. Either coincidence or a good sign, maybe both. And if you're new here, greetings from the Philippines. I am a calisthenics athlete starting my planche journey in my 40s. It's never too late, and the daughter is a climber, and today I'm doing a reaction video, so let's go. So the premise of this video is really great. It takes 3 practitioners, 1 beginner, 1 intermediate, and 1 that's trying to go into advanced handstands. Sondre starts with some drills for balancing and then gets into the body awareness, which is where we're going to jump to. I definitely recommend watching the whole video. So let's go to the headstand portion, which is regarding body awareness.
So in a handstand, it's super important to be aware of where your joints are in space, how to stack them in relation to one another. It might sound surprising, but it's a great way to eliminate all the struggles of balancing and keeping a handstand position. And it's just going to focus on your spine, hips, and legs and how they relate to one another.
So for the beginner, you can see he goes for straight to the headstand for body awareness. And that was a great explanation from Sondre about getting the joints and body parts stacked.
For you, we're going to make it as simple as headstands. Might sound surprising, but it's a great way to eliminate all the struggles of balancing and keeping a handstand position. And it's just going to focus on your spine, hips, and legs and how they relate to one another.
So spine, hips, and leg positioning was for the beginners. Clearly starting at the very fundamentals of being upside down and how to position the body. This is a tool as Sondre is providing at the wall. The wall, as I mentioned in the workshop, is a tool, as is the headstand.
So you're gonna enter a headstand, and for you I think it makes sense to use the yoga style headstand. It's like forearm headstand. There are 2 different versions, the triangle one and this one. And this one challenges your positional cues better. So you're gonna fold your hands over your head, and then you're gonna focus on pushing your elbows into the ground to remove weight from your head. You don't want a lot of weight on your head, but your head should be in the ground. It's not a forearm stand.
Great point here. This is obviously for the safety, removing the neck compression, which is very important for your headstands. The scapular elevation is what he's talking about, is using that frame, ensuring that the weight is there on the arms and not the neck. And the way you do that is with the scapular elevation or overhead press of the arms.
From here, you get your hips up until your toes leave. Get comfy here, and then you can slowly but certainly try to get your knees up and straighten your legs. And from here, you can slowly try to get back again. And because the surface, the balancing surface, the contact with ground is so small, you really do need to stack all the joints quite efficiently in order to balance this, which is why it's a great drill to work on for creating this upside down awareness and learning how to stack the joints in relationship to one another.
So Sondre is obviously very skilled at these inversions, so it's quite effortless when he does do that. So it comes quite naturally, I'm sure, to him to do a headstand, but there is a lot of torso engagement as well as back and hips that go into just getting your feet off the floor. He kind of brushes over it casually, but I'd like to point out something that he does with his hips. Let's take a look.
Until your toes leave. Get comfy here, and then you can slowly but certainly try to get your knees up and
Okay, so let's take a look specifically at the pelvic tilt. I want you to notice how he started with a rounded back,
From here, you get your hips up.
a rounded lower back.
Get comfy here.
You can see it there. There, the body is basically in like a sit-up crunching, obviously inverted, but in a crunching motion. Now, as he elevates, you can see the pelvic tilt now going into a more of an arched lower back. It's difficult to see from this angle, but let's see if we can see it from the side again.
Knees up and
There. You can see the more natural curve of the back is as he's straightening up, he's straightening the torso, the hips, but you can see the transition of the pelvic tilt. This position, you can see that the practitioner has some wide elbows. This is probably going to be a limitation of the shoulder mobility in flexion, as well as his overhead press. That is something that will limit your ability to press overhead, is actually a personal limitation, and I've been working on that for over a year. Take it slow, let the brain catch up. Oftentimes it is the brain that needs to be trained for these different ranges of motion. If you're like me, who spends hours working on a computer, and as I do this reaction, I'm sitting down at a computer, been working on a computer for over 20 years, so I'm sure those things don't help. Modern life is like that to our bodies. But let's continue to see how Sondre corrects the beginner's application of what he just spoke on.
you can bend your legs. It's fine. Yeah. Yeah.
Scared.
Yes, that's why we're using the wall too, because it's super uncomfortable to fall from this. So we're not gonna actually use the wall, but it's gonna be there for safety. So hips up, 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 up. Push elbows in the ground, yes. Yes, bend both knees, yes. Yeah.
Okay, I just want to point something out with that last attempt. You can see that the chin went away from the chest, and that is going to add to the cervical compression there. So that is a safety concern, and is why the wall is an important tool. And Sondre just mentioned that he uses it for safety reasons, and that's probably why, as a beginner, we have a tendency to overshoot the inversions. We don't know where our hips are when it's over our head. I'll link Sondre's full video in the description. It's definitely worth watching the beginner to advanced level tutorial. The entry drills and even going into the one arm prep are definitely worth taking note, and all those little details that he mentions about what to do with your hands, to your hips, to your feet are great points as well. If you're in CDO, there might be something coming down the pipeline in terms of an inversion workshop at the end of August. We're not finalized yet, but stay tuned so you can follow here on YouTube. I'm mostly active on Instagram, posting about my daily personal routine. More reactions coming. There's a lot of content worth reacting to online, so stay tuned and be sure to subscribe.